You are not paying near enough attention to your volume charts. A top gappers scanner will provide you with a list of stocks that are up a lot on the day, but not necessarily a list of stocks that are tradable right now. What if we took this same top gainers scanner, but instead of sorting it by the stocks that are up the most, we instead sort it by relative volume? Now at the top of the list, we will only see stocks that are tradable right now. So in today's video, we're going to build a scanner to help us find high relative volume stocks. We're going to build out this scan column so that you can apply it to any of your scanners. And towards the end of the video, we'll even build a trading strategy around this high relative volume idea and backtest it to prove to you that this idea works. First step, the scanner. Let's only find stocks that are currently trading very high relative volume. We will know that this list of stocks will be a good one to keep an eye on for potential trade opportunities right now. First off, add your stock filters. Whatever types of stocks you like to trade, make use of the stock filters to find them. I go with a current minimum price of 25 cents. Just keep a lot of the real cheap penny crap off of my list, and a minimum volume of 1 million shares. I have no interest in trading low liquidity crap. Once again, these are subjective. Get them set up in the way that it returns to you the types of stocks that you like to trade. Next, we'll build out the meat and potatoes of this scanner by adding a third filter, this time rather than of type stock, of type study. We will then hop into the pencil icon on this filter, into the ThinkScript editor, and get to work writing a little bit of code. And if you've never written a line of code before in your life, don't worry, it's very easy, and we're going to do it step by step together. So first off, just delete whatever sort of default code is there. We won't need that. First step to coding anything is think about the problem you need to solve. All we want to do here is find when the current volume bar is greater than the average volume over the previous X number of bars back. That's pretty easy to do within ThinkScript coding. So we're going to say that the volume, that representing the current volume bar, is greater than the average. Here we're going to open parentheses, volume, separate your parameters within a function. If you don't know what parameter and function means, don't worry about it. It doesn't actually matter. Separate them with a comma, and the second parameter is of length. We'll just use the default length of 14. Go ahead and close your parentheses. We are done with the average function. There you go. Maybe you just wrote your first ever function. Congratulations. Now, we need to offset this function by 1 so that it's not including the current volume bar. That's very easy to do within ThinkorSwim. Open square bracket, type the number 1, close square bracket. There you go. The volume is greater than the average volume over the previous 14 candles. Now, we also want to give it some sort of multiple. And this can be a little bit subjective. Honestly, you're going to find what works best for you in your own testing of this scanner. By default, let's just go with times 2. So the volume must be 2 times greater than the average volume over the previous 14 candles. Also, before we go ahead and close out this modal, I need to let you know that this D here, you can left click into this and you're going to get a drop down of every time frame available to you within ThinkorSwim. I'm sort of building this out with the idea that it's a day trading scanner. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the 5-minute time frame. This obviously means the code is now running against that data. So the volume on the current 5-minute candle is greater than the average volume over the previous 14 5-minute candles. And of course, I will leave include extended hours trading session checked because I would like this to work in pre-market and after hours as well. Go ahead and hit OK. Go ahead and run this scanner and let's see if we built it out correctly. We're actually currently only seeing one stock, AVAH, and it actually looks like something that's not really trading. It looks like something that might not be a thing. Yeah, it's just some sideways chopper. So right now, maybe we just don't have one. Guess what? That's perfectly okay. Let's give it a little bit of time here and let's see. What did I do? Let's give it a little bit of time here and let's see if something else pops up on the scan. Just quickly, while we wait for something interesting to pop up on the scanner, I want to let you know if you're interested in this sort of custom ThinkorSwim codes, I have published over 150 codified scanners, studies, even trade strategies over on my website, daytradingstrategies.net. And you're watching at the perfect time if you're not already one of the over 3,500 members that have signed up to take advantage of this. It is currently the largest sale of the year, the Black Friday sale, so you can use discount code TURKEY at checkout on the annual plan to also get lifetime access to the Discord server, all for less than $10 a month. 12 months of access to every new code I will add, once again, as well as access to that Discord server, which currently consists of over 1,100 members, all for less than $120. There's even a handful of free codes over on the site, as well as a quick 1-minute video tutorial showcasing exactly how easy it is. It truly is very easy. If you can copy and paste, you can import these codes. So head on over to daytradingstrategies.net. It will be linked in the description down below this video. Sign up today and become a better trader immediately. All right, so I went ahead and ran the scanner again just here past 9 a.m. And we have a handful of stocks on the list now. The first one is MBOT. We go take a look at MBOT. We are looking here on the 1-minute chart. We can indeed see this thing is trading high relative volume. It also just made a move from like 204 to 217, a 5.5% move in a 1-minute candle. That's good. That's what we're looking for. This is the kind of volatility that we want to be targeting and looking for in real time. Up comes our next problem. If we're scanning for stocks with high relative volume, then how do we identify which stocks in these results have the highest relative volume? This will mean that these stocks are currently the most volatile, making them the best trade setup candidates. To do this, we will move into segment number 2 of this video, being the custom scan column. To create a custom scan column in ThinkorSwim, you're going to click on this tiny cog icon to the far right of your scan result headers here. Left click on this, from this drop down into customize. From this look up a column box here, you're going to type in custom. Here you're going to see something like custom 1 through 19. I have already used a ton of mine. All you need to do is double click to add any of these columns to your current set. When you do that, you will notice the scroll icon appears. Whenever this scroll icon appears without a lock or a copyright symbol on it in ThinkorSwim, that means you can click into this scroll icon and we can begin to edit the source code of that code block. Now, I wet your whistle earlier with some coding. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated, but don't freak out. It's still just one line of code, and we're still going to build it step by step together. So what we need to build out now is the percent difference equation. Luckily, this equation is very simple. You're going to take your new value minus your original value, and then you're going to divide all of that by the original value, and of course, multiply the whole thing by 100 just to make it that percent. So what is our new and original value? Our new value is the volume of the current bar. Our original value is that average volume over the last 14 bars. So all we need to do here is go volume minus, so new minus our original, remember, which is average volume over the last 14. This is the numerator of our equation. So let's go ahead and wrap this in parentheses so that it sticks together and all gets divided by, remember, once again, that original value, which is the average volume over the last 14 candles. Then let's go ahead and wrap this entire equation again in parentheses so that it's all grouped together and it all gets multiplied by 100 to make it that percent. Now remember, we still have one more thing to change. We are once again, since we are using the 5-minute on this scanner, I'll just once again use the 5-minute for this column. And hopefully you're grasping the idea that this code, like this scanner and this custom column, you can use this on any time frame you would like. I'm just using the 5-minute as the example in this video. And of course, we want to continue to include extended hours trading sessions. So now we'll go ahead and hit apply and OK. And back on this column set module, we will hit OK. And we should see the column appear and begin populating with our percent difference in the current volume versus the average volume over the last 14 candles, correct? Now, of course, we can double click on the name of this column, which will sort it ascending top down to the stocks that currently have the highest relative volume on this scan appear at the top of the list. This video just got a lot more interesting because the market is now open. So obviously we have a much larger list of stocks here to dig from, as now all of these stocks are trading higher relative volume than they were in pre-market. The number one stock on the list right now is showing a 501% higher relative volume. That stock is KTTA. We go over and take a look at this thing. We can indeed see this is an absolute rocket ship stock. Actually looks like it's been halted a few times on the way up, but it is getting that extreme relative volume that we are scanning for, and what we can find, especially so when using the custom scan column to find the stocks with the highest relative volume in the market. In like 5 seconds after I cut that last clip, we just went from $1.10 up to $1.30. It's like an 18% move in like less than a minute. That's exactly what this scanner is looking for. It's looking to locate this kind of volatility. So there's a nice live example for you as it even goes and pushes highs again now. Let me walk you through one minor issue with the way we currently have this scan column set up. This is ticker IVDA, trading very heavy relative volume. However, currently the heavy relative volume on the 5-minute chart is to the downside. So is there a way we can build our custom scan column to highlight when the heavy relative volume is bullish? Since I like to overpromise in my videos, this is a nice way to give you a little extra segment. Let's call it 2B column coloring. So what we're going to do, we're going to hop back into our customize here, and we're going to hop back into our custom column code, and we are just going to write one more line of code that changes the background color of the column if the candle is green. So that in that way, if we would like to only focus on bullish volatility, I know that's what I would like to focus more so on, we can identify that quickly. One quick thing we need to fix first. When you create a code block in this manner and only use a single line of code, there is certain coding rules that you aren't forced to do. But since we're about to make it a multi-line code, we will need to do these rules. What we need to do is we need to declare a variable to store this equation within. So I'm going to use the keyword plot as we actually want to see the outcome of this variable. I'm just going to name the variable X for ease sakes and give myself an equal sign. And now that we are writing a real formatted line of code, we need to end the line of code with a semicolon. So we've not actually changed anything happening here. We've just given it the correct coding rules that is required in order for us to go down and begin writing a second line of code. Now, very easy, just one more line of code making use of one more function. The function is called assign background color, obviously function open parentheses, and within the parameter, obviously being color of this function, we are going to use an if statement, if then else. So if close is greater than open, so if the current 5-minute candle is green, then color.green. We need to utilize dot notation to reference the data set in which green is stored, being color. If you have no idea what I just said, once again, who cares? It doesn't matter. Just copy what I write down. I just like to throw in a little bit of coding knowledge while I'm talking for those of you that want to learn or for those of you that maybe understand. So then color.green. Else, we're going to use color.current, which just means if the candle isn't green, then just leave the background the same color as it is according to your ThinkorSwim theme. As we now go ahead and hit apply and OK, as these codes load back in here, it might take them a second, but as these load back in, we should see if the current candle is green, then the background of this block should be green. Actually, 4 out of the 5 have loaded in and none of them are green. Let's go take a look just to make sure it's working. So NOK is one of these stocks on the list. Does have a red candle. It's working. The next one is ABEV. Let's go look at ABEV. Okay, does currently, well, it currently has a flat candle, so still working. Up, and the top one has highlighted green, PSTV. So if we go look at PSTV, we should indeed see a green candle. So it is working as intended. Let me show you something else interesting that happens with this scanner when using it on an intraday time frame like this. Since I'm running it on the 5-minute time frame, every time a new 5-minute candle opens, like it's 10:16, so a candle has only been open for 1 minute, all your results go away. Because of course, obviously, right at candle open, the candle is not going to have high volume relative to the average volume of the candles before it. There is a quick fix I think we can do to help with this. So let's hop back into the study filter pencil icon here, and let's just simply go or, and let's copy this whole statement from before, or, and let's offset everything by 1. So essentially we're going to say, or the volume from the previous bar was at least 2 times greater than the bars before it. That way that even when the bar resets, so I'm going to go volume, open square bracket 1, close square bracket, and then in our previous offset of 1, we're going to upgrade it to 2. But that way, either the current candle or the candle before had 2x average volume. That way that if I'm right now, and it looks to be better, if I'm right now, every time you get a new 5-minute candle, all your results won't just disappear. So that's not going to matter if you're looking at like a daily chart. Well, it might actually, because if you're looking at a daily chart at the beginning of the day, it will matter. So never mind. It does matter. And I think this is a pretty quick, easy, and useful fix to the scanner. I'm going to continue to over deliver here with the scanner. And yes, I promise we're about to get into the trading strategy, but let's call this segment 2C linking. So how can we quickly chart the results of our scanner? Because like if something starts popping, like the whole idea of this is if something gets heavy relative volume now, because of course the data in the custom column is live updating. So if something pops, it will jump to the top of this list now. How can we quickly then go chart that looking for trade opportunities? What I'm going to do, I'm going to save this scan query. I just used the middle hamburger icon there, clicked on save. DTS relative volume is the name of the scanner. I will hop back. Hop back. I said hop back. That was weird. Hop back into my charts tab here, and I'm going to open up this left hand pane. At the very bottom of it is an add gadget button. Click on that, and we will add a watch list gadget. Now from this watch list, I can left click into this name and I can find whatever I just named that, which was DTS relative volume. So I now have the scan results loaded in here next to where I'm charting. That comes with some immediate benefit right away. However, now let's make it even better. Once again, let's come into the cog icon here into customize, and let's get, I don't care about net bid, last change, whatever. I don't care about any of that stuff. Let's get our custom column turned on so that we can sort ascending top down by that, so that any stock that gets high relative volume, by the way, look at PSTV continue. We like highlighted this here on this candle and it's already made an extra 2-3% move up. Anyway, I'm ranting, getting off topic. Now what I can do, I can stretch this out a bit, which brings me to this link icon. I can go ahead and left click on this. I'm going to choose to yellow. And as you notice here on the chart, next to where you type in the name of the ticker, there is also a link icon. If you also set this to yellow, now whenever you click on a stock from this scanner, so I'm just going to left click on this stock, left click on this stock, it will automatically populate to the chart. And just look at the opportunities you can now easily and quickly find in real time with this scanner, with this scan column, and with this linkage so that you can much faster get them onto a chart and take advantage of the opportunity. And this thing just continues to go nuts. But anyway, let's now hop into segment 3, maybe the segment you've been waiting for the most throughout this video, the trade strategy. So how do we take advantage of these opportunities? Well, the immediate idea that plops into my head is that we buy if there's a green candle that is getting 2x average volume. For example, that would have been true here on this candle on this ticker. Then we don't exit until we get a volume decrease. So even on this red candle, we wouldn't have gotten stopped out because the volume on this bar is still higher than the volume on this bar. So there's still a lot of trading volume. There's still a lot of demand happening for the ticker. And obviously, since then, every other bar has had increasing volume as well. You'd be up 13, 14% in this position right now. Of course, we're going to build this strategy using code, which as you can see, I have already done. And we're going to begin to look at how it has performed across some of the movers today. I will go ahead and show you the source code here once again, you don't need to understand this, but if you would like to copy it, feel free, of course. What I'm doing here is I am setting position size. I have defaulted to $25,000 and start time. This is something I felt an important caveat to add. I am not going to start trading until 10 o'clock. So 9:55 as 5-minute chart, 10 a.m. would be the next candle, because your average volume is always going to be very high coming out of pre-market, because obviously pre-market is much lighter volume. So you're going to try to trade everything inside of those first 30 minutes. So I set up a caveat to my strategy. By the way, look at it, just sold. I set up a caveat to my strategy by default to not trade until 9:55. You will notice both of those lines of codes were declared with an input keyword. That means that you can easily change them from the settings cog of the strategy. So set up your position size to whatever you like to trade, and you can adjust that start time if you would like to go about it a different way than I just described. But then we are buying as long as we are after 9:55, and the volume is 2 times greater than the average volume over the last 14 bars. So the same exact reason why a stock would be on our scanner. Let me tell you something. I've been building codified trading strategies in ThinkorSwim for over 6 years. That is very important, and it's why we built the scanner first. You should be building conditions that match on your entrance of your strategy and your scanner. Because it doesn't matter if you're testing stocks that appear on a scanner that wouldn't buy, or you're buying stocks that wouldn't appear on a scanner. They have to work together so that the strategy, one, and most importantly, doesn't cheat the back test. Like, it's not buying a stock before it would appear on a strong scanner. That would just be cheating, because of course the strategy is going to make a ton of money if you're only looking at stocks that are strong after the entrance condition, right? And two, it doesn't matter if you have a great strategy if you can't find the stocks to trade with it. So just make sure those align. All right, sorry, a little bit of a coding back testing rant for you, but that's very, very important. Anyway, then our sell condition is simply sell when the current volume is less than the volume of the bar before. And as we can see here on this trade, we did indeed get our our volume 2x greater than the average volume over the last 14 bars. If you can read that, the volume of this candle was 1.8 million. The average volume was less than 900,000. That's a double. We bought the close of this candle. We then sold the close of this candle because this candle has less volume than the candle before it. So just simply using everything we've built in today's video, we captured a 10% trade in less than 15 minutes. Actually, that might have just been a 10-minute trade. You wouldn't exactly complain about that, would you? Here's an extra twist for you. Say you want to use this strategy in pre-market, which I would want to do. Pre-market is my favorite time to trade during the day. Well, of course, it's not going to trade with the current setup. So what I would do if I was looking at this during pre-market, I would come in and I would set my start time. Instead of 9:55, I would set it to 6:55, as 7 a.m. is when we can begin pre-market trading with ThinkorSwim. Go ahead and set it to 6:55. And now, as we can see on this pre-market mover, AMZE, this was actually one of the ones we were looking at when we were building the scanner during pre-market this morning. So yes, it was obviously on the scanner, and the buy condition aligns with the scan conditions. We can see the trades being taken on this thing in pre-market now. Obviously gets its initial news spike, so it gets heavy volume here. The strategy buys and the strategy sells. It's all stretched because of the bigger later volume, but there's your big volume, and then the strategy sells once you get that decrease in volume, locking in looks like a nice 8, 9, 10% there. And then the stock gets another push. Once again, when it gets its high relative volume, the strategy buys. Once the volume decreases, the strategy sells. And obviously, as you can see here, and this is a good idea to prove to you, because I don't ever want anybody thinking that they can sign up to download my codes or use what I build to always win. Guess what? Sometimes the strategy is going to lose too. But here in 3 trades on $25,000 positions in pre-market, this strategy made about $3,000. That's pretty good before market even opens. I showed you all the codes that we built today, but if you would like to just easily import them alongside over 150 other codes, remember to go check out daytradingstrategies.net, linked in the description down below. Guys, I've put together a short playlist. It's just 3 videos. It'll take you less than an hour. If you watch these videos, I promise you, you're going to be a better trader. These are 3 of my favorite trading strategies. So go check that out next if you're interested.